There we go. All right. Welcome back to Texas Storm Spotter. My name is Chris. Thought I would come to you. I haven't done a video or any kind of updates regarding the weather. I'm kind of going through a transition with updating my computer system so that it's more viable to my audio setup. The computer I have now will have issues with dropouts on my audio and video. And with all the radar technology and the multiple screens and going to a third screen, um, puts a lot of load. This one is a very expensive laptop that I use. It's a gaming style laptop, but it is maxed out in every setting you can think of for this type of computer. I'm needing up to just a minimum of 64 gigabytes of RAM. I want to max out to 128. That means I have to upscale from the $1,800 laptop up to a more expensive desktop version that I can, have a higher resolution. I use DaVinci Resolve 18. It demands a lot from the graphic card itself, so I need a better GPU, one between 8 and 12 gigs. The market has now reduced down, but you're looking at a very expensive desktop. And of course, I don't get paid for any of this from YouTube. We haven't hit the subscriber mark. I don't get any advertisements. I don't get anything like that just yet. That's something down the road. So this has to come out of my own personal pocket, and expenses, don't allow me just to do everything at one time. So, plus, I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence, and I've decided, am I going to go Intel? Am I going to go AMD? So I've decided I'm going to go AMD. It's a little bit cheaper, and they seem to be ahead of the race when it comes to Intel products. So everything down through the system besides my GPU, I haven't decided if I'm going to NVIDIA or AMD, uh, you know, MSI, whatever the settings out there. I want to get a graphics card that can keep up. So I need to do the studies on my CPU and GPU, so make sure I don't have any bottlenecking problems. I want to get a motherboard that can hold the processing that I'm going to be doing. If I max out my RAM, that will take care of the audio system, because I've got mixers and XLR microphone. I've got a Focusrite 4i4. Everything that I have demands a lot of RAM and a lot of processing. And as good as this gaming laptop is, with everything it has, it can do a basic minimum, but my setup is beyond the basic minimum anymore. Especially when you're adding multiple monitors and triple monitors, I need that when the weather gets bad so that I can watch radar. I can actually see what the National Weather Service is doing. I can forecast and watch OBS on one area as I'm broadcasting out to make sure that the screen, that we don't have any dropouts. And that was the problem with this one right here. I could actually be doing a recording, and out of 3 recordings, if I got 3, at least one of those, I would have a dropout in the middle and I would lose my audio. And then that means the other half of the basic setup that I have will drop out. And then I have to start all over again, which is frustrating, because, you'll spend 30, 40 minutes or maybe an hour doing your editing and processing and changing light and doing your post, audio, making sure that everything is clean and crisp for the YouTube channel so that you guys can hear us and see what we're doing. And then when you go live, it really puts a load on it. And with this one being wireless, and it does not have the Ethernet connection that usually most gaming laptops do, I don't know why this one didn't. And this is a high-end laptop. I need to be connected directly into my internet, not wireless. So when I go live, I don't have any dropouts or feed outs. So I'm getting direct feed from the internet source that I'm using. And like I'm talking to you right now, I'm talking to you from a wireless mic off to my cell phone, because running my cameras, it only goes like 10 minutes and they'll start to overheat. Most of my cameras are set up for webcam use, Canon cameras, stuff like that. So the camera on here, I'm using Open Camera Source, which allows me to do adjustments, and then I'll be uploading. So this, guys, is a raw video. It has no post editing. It has no adjustments on the audio. But I wanted to come to you and let you know that, we're going to be down until the 1st of August. I've got a lot going on. I need to take care of this. I had a couple of health issues come up that are needing to be addressed ahead of everything. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be ignoring you guys. I might have to be doing some shorts on the weather daily. We're coming into the summer months, so the reduction of weather here in Texas will reduce down. But I will be keeping an eye on our states here and watching what's going on. If it pins anything, I can give a quick short out there or maybe upload a weather. But, going online and looking at things and stuff like that, videoing from your phone doesn't give you the best clarity. And I can't speak through my mic. If I use a lavalier mic and stuff like that, it's so gritty because when you're speaking from this point here, it's so loud and you have to really reduce the audio on it from the crackle because it really spikes up and gets, above the minus setting for your audio, and you need to be between 12 and 15 dB, not 50 or plus. It gives you that crackle effect, and it's just not good quality. And I don't want to subject my people and subscribers to YouTube. I've already lost one subscriber from my channel, and I'm sorry to see them go. But doing storm spotting is what I love to do. I also have my HVAC channel, HVAC for beginners. So you guys out there, this video is also for you guys. I will be back and we're doing more of those. That's why I also need to upgrade my computer because it's going to do a lot of demand. We're going to be using my cameras more out in the field, doing live settings, stuff like that. And I need the upscale for my camera. But I wanted to come out to you guys, kind of explain why all of a sudden I disappeared. It's not that I'm off YouTube. I'm just having to go through a function. Redoing a desktop computer, you're looking at $1,000, $1,200, up to $1,800 to do those things. And, we have our car payments, our rent, everything goes up. Food prices have gone up and stuff like that. So, when bills go up, that takes away from your savings and has to go to scale up or subsidize the increase of food products and everything else. I'll give you an example. I remember back in 1984, you could rent a house for between $320 and $400. You can get an apartment for like $280. Now an apartment alone itself, between $1,100 and $2,000 a month, which is absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There's not an apartment complex out there that I would assume that would be worth all that. And it's just a horrible situation for the American people altogether. But I digress on that one. But I will be back, I promise you. And when I do go back, I will put a temporary upload saying I'm back. And we'll kind of go over that desktop that I built a little bit to kind of show you the increase and the capacity in which it will do for my whole entire setup. When you're going along, you're doing weather and stuff like that, you need the multi-screens, the triple screens, so that you can watch multiple radars, get reports from National Weather Service, kind of get scale on things, run your radar while you're doing it, and actually put all that together onto your OBS system or whatever it is that you're using to broadcast it, especially from a live event. Once you go live, the computer is really ramping up and you're broadcasting. So it's a difference between recording on OBS and going live on OBS or anything else if you're using Mojave Editor or whatever it is you're using. And then, like I said, with DaVinci 18, it demands more from a graphics point or the GPU than it does the CPU. Now, I'm going to get a CPU that has integrated graphics, which kind of helps a little bit, but it needs its own independent GPU to be able to process without any lag, especially if you're using photos and you're bringing everything in and you've got multiple settings going on your DaVinci Resolve. It takes a lot. And then, of course, with your recording, your RAM and everything needs to be upscaled. This one only maxes out at 32 gigabytes of RAM. I need a minimum of 64 for having any dropouts. I did a latency testing on this computer, and it popped in the red a couple of times, showing that it might have dropouts and pops, in which it does. So, Guys, this is Chris from Texas Storm Spotters. We will see you really, really soon. I will give you an update on what's going on or how close I'm going to get. But we will be back on the air, especially coming in into what I call the second tornado season. We seem to have two of them here in Texas. We have that mid-spring and we have that mid-fall, which seems to mimic each other equally. Same type of weather programs, same type of weather settings. Fronts start coming in and we start increasing in storms. It's not unusual to have a tornado, in December. Our temperatures here, we really don't drop and get really cold till about mid-December. And we've had tornadoes in December. We've had tornadoes in January. We've had a lot of them in fall. So, you got to keep an eye on here in the Gulf areas because we're a little bit warmer. We're still in hurricane season all the way up to September. August is coming up, which is why I'm kind of in a rush to try to get this going, because that's starting of the peak hurricane season. And, we've already had some storms that have come off the African coast, which is very unusual for early types of June. And, coming into July, usually they are in the Caribbean areas or they're in the Gulf of Mexico when they form, not in the coming off the African coast just yet in the hurricane track line. But it has happened. So, hurricane seasons can be flippy floppy, but it only takes one storm to cause a major hurricane activity. And always remember, it's not the hurricane, it's the impact that storm does to the location when it makes contact. You can still have, a Category 1 hurricane and still have significant damage being caused by that and flooding depending on where it hits. And we need to stay on top of that. So this is Chris with Texas Storm Spotters. We will see you soon.